Hello and welcome from Atomicon in Newcastle in the northeast of England. This is very exciting. In today's Winning with Live video, we're talking about how you can live stream without breaking the bank. We're talking about inexpensive tech. So we'll be with you just after this. Well, hello, welcome to Winning with Live video from Restream. My name is Ian Anderson-Gray.
And my name is Anita Wong.
Well, this is very exciting because we're meeting in person. Anita is no stranger to the Restream channels. You do a lot of stuff. In fact, you are the brains and the face behind the course, aren't you?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, so the Restream course, which is learn.restream, is basically made for beginners to intermediates. And yeah, you'll find me inside there teaching you how to use the Restream Studio.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining. We can see some amazing people watching live. We've got the fabulous Katie Simpson. Is it great to see you, Katie? Hope you're doing well. We've got, is it Jason Allen, who I think is watching on your channel. So
hi, Jason. Hi.
We're doing Restream Pairs. It's very exciting. We'll tell you about a bit more about Restream Pairs in a second. We've got Flawless Beauty International watching on Facebook. And we've got somebody watching in a group. Unfortunately, we can't see who your name is because of Facebook's privacy option, saying, so great to see you, but you two together, friends. Great to see you. If you want, by the way, if you're watching in a group and if you want to allow us to see your name, just go to confident.live/show my name. I had to remember that. Confident.live/show my name. And Brian Shulman gang, great to see you. Awesome. Well, we've been at Atomicon. So Atomicon, if you don't know, why don't you explain what Atomicon is?
Oh, really? Okay, so Atomicon is England's best business conference, and it's run by Andrew and Pete. And it's been absolutely amazing. It's been the whole day. Today is the conference, but we've had a pre-party and a pre-party. But it's really, really good. It brings together, lots of different business owners and then lots of speakers, and we learn lots about building our businesses up, how to improve our businesses, how to up-level our business. So it's been really, really interesting. We've had some amazing speakers today.
It has been amazing. And actually, this is, I don't know about you, Anita, but this is the first in-person conference I've been to since the social media marketing world last year. So a long time. So it's been very exciting. And actually, I have to admit, I was a bit nervous about it, but it has been great. It's been really good fun.
Yeah, it has been.
So well, we're going to share a little bit more about the conference, but also today's show, we're going to be talking about how to live stream without breaking the bank. And we've got lots of gear. Well, Anita's brought lots of gear here, which is going to be very exciting. So if you've just joined, welcome. This is Winning with Live video, and we're going to be talking about live stream tech and how not to break the bank. We'd love to know where in the world you are watching from, and also what device you are watching on. It could be a TV. You could be watching in the lounge, watching on a big TV. You could be watching on one of these things, or tablet or something like that. Let us know. I can see. So, apparently it is sunny morning. Flawless Beauty International. Let us know where you're watching from. We've got Carl Sullivan is in the house. He always calls me Sir Ian.
Hello, Sir Ian.
Lady Anita, maybe. I don't know. We've also got Martin Buckland.
Yeah, hey, Martin.
Great to see you, Martin. Good afternoon, you two streaming influencers. Oh, I shouldn't laugh. And Katie's also saying, hashtag England's best business conference. We've also got the fabulous Real Northwest Arkansas saying hello from, am I pronouncing that? Am I saying that right? Arkansas. Yes, that's right. Watching on a MacBook Pro. Spot the English person who doesn't know anything about American states. Apologies for that. I think so. So apologies for that. We've also got Hitan Patel watching from Vaughan, Ontario, Canada. It's been a long day. It's been a long day watching on a desktop PC.
Really. Yeah, that's right.
And we've got, yes, so, Heaton, thank you for telling me that because I'll get it wrong. And Garen Bulani watching on LinkedIn. Good morning, everyone. Ian the Live King, thank you for that. Anyway, yeah, so it's been a fun day. Andrew and Pete, by the way, if you've not come across them, they are an awesome marketing duo based in the northeast of England. They've been good friends of mine for many years. They are amazing. Check them out at andrewandpete.com. And we've also got, can you check, we're behind, we've got the, let's just move that out of the way.
The Atomicon Pineapple.
Yeah, Atomicon Pineapple and the Shocking Pink branding. So what's been your favorite thing? Well, maybe not necessarily your favorite, but what's been some standout things or takeaways from the day?
Yeah, I'm going to refer to the book. So Anne Handley did an amazing storytelling talk today, which was, it was really, really good because it actually allows you to put yourself in your customer's shoes and actually tell a story about it. And she was referring to Rudolph the reindeer and when that was written and why it was written, and it was actually written by a marketer. So it was really interesting that, this author who was working as a marketer then wrote this story to bring people into their shop, which was like a big American store, and how that all sort of grew. And she broke it all down so that you could actually put your clients into that scenario. And that was really, really interesting. So I'm going to sit back and probably watch that again and go through that, which, obviously takes a little bit of time because there's been so much information today. It's like my head's like going to explode. So I think you just have to, the good thing about Atomicon is that you can come live, but you can also watch it on the replay. You get access. So I'll be able to just sort of go home, spend some time and actually look at everything again and work through what what I want to sort of focus on.
Excuse me. Getting all excited. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just, that's one of the things about conferences. You could go to absolutely everything, but you end up just being a wreck at the end of the day. I think I'm going to cough again. Yeah. Excuse me. Okay. It's not COVID, I promise you. I've already had COVID 2 weeks ago, so I'm fine. But yeah, and actually all the live streams have been, Restream has been used to multi-stream to lots of different places, which has been very exciting. So I think, for me, I mean, I've been so many good things, but it was I loved Rob and Kennedy. They were fun. So Rob and Kennedy, another marketing duo in the northeast of England, and they're very much focused on email marketing. And I've been kind of like a lot of people in the past putting off email marketing. And about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I decided I need to be really consistent. And I've been really consistent with my live shows and podcasts. Email marketing, not so much. But I've kind of been able to do that. And I think that they just gave a lot of us confidence that, I mean, one of the takeaways, I don't know about for you, but the takeaway for me is, what was the least boring thing that happened to you yesterday? And write it down. And that can be the basis of your email, as long as you then change it into some lesson that you can learn. So I'd love to know from you watching, what was the least boring thing that happened to you yesterday? Yeah. What was the least boring thing that happened to you yesterday?
The least boring? I had a flamingo balloon made for me. And it had a light. I've still got the light in my pocket, actually. Look. So, and then I was walking back from the pre-party, and it was like I was like this magician. So this little light here, when it's dark, I was like, oh look, and then it was like shining. It was like something from Star Wars or something. So so that's the least boring thing.
Well, there you go. We could make that into a start of a newsletter. That would be would be great.
That's right.
So let's see who else we've got watching, and then we're going to get stuck into today's topic, which is all about, well, making the tech easy. Because I know this is. And we were just talking before we started. Anita is amazing at getting rid of the overwhelm and making things just a lot simpler, because quite often, and I'm guilty of this, I can overcomplicate things. I quite like to overcomplicate things, but we're not about that. We're going to keep things simple. So we've got somebody, I don't know who this is, watching from Los Angeles. We've got Charlie watching on Facebook. I need to make live streams on YouTube and Facebook. at the same time. Do you think we've got a tool for that?
Yeah, now let me just think.
I think we might do.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, so this is actually, Charlie, this is, in all seriousness, this is a good time to talk about Restream. This is the software that we're using. Today, we're using Restream Studio. So this is just through the web. I'm using just bung up Google Chrome, plugged my camera in, microphone. We're keeping things really simple today because we're on the move. And yeah, we're using Restream Studio. And we are probably overcomplicating things. How many places are we broadcasting to, Anita?
18. 18 different platforms. So,
yeah,
which is amazing because it just means that you've got so much opportunity to engage with your audiences.
Definitely. I think, Anita, like, what would you say? If somebody's starting with multi-streaming or multi-streaming, depending on how you pronounce it, do you think like starting with 18 networks is a good place to start, or do you think that might be a bit overkill?
No, I think that's a little bit of overkill. I think Restream allows you to do like 3 on their first level tier, and I think that's a really good one to start with because what's really good is that the chat comes into the studio, so we can actually see all the comments that you're making, and it just means that if you start with say 2 or 3, then you can actually have an engaged conversation with your audience whilst you're still live streaming. You haven't got to open up another app or anything. It's right there, so you can actually bring it in, which is good. I think
it's important. I mean, Restream Studio is really, really simple to use, but I think if you're just dipping your toe in the multi-streaming world, and Charlie, I think you're wanting to go live to YouTube and Facebook, and you can do that really easily in Restream. You just add those channels to it, and then if you're wanting to schedule in advance, you just select those, put the title and the description, and you're away. And it's really awesome. We should talk about Restream Pairs. Now, that Restream Pairs is the next level. But if you are having a guest, whether it's a remote guest or today, we've got an in-person, then you could do something really cool, which I've been very excited about basically since it came out, and it's called Restream Pairs. And so I'm currently broadcasting to Restream's channel. So if you're watching on Restream Facebook or YouTube, hello, great to see you. I'm also broadcasting to my Facebook page, a couple of Facebook groups, Twitter. It's now called Twitter Live, not Periscope. LinkedIn, DLive, Twitch, and a few other places as well. But because Anita is a guest on the show, I was able to give her what's called a pairs link in Restream. So this means that Anita can then go in and add her channels, and so this is also going out on Anita's channels. How easy was it for you just to go and do that?
Super easy. So basically, Ian shared the link. I clicked it. I already had a Restream account, so you do have to have an account. So if you haven't got one, you just sign up. But I just clicked it, went in, and then I just chose the channels that I wanted to share the live stream with, and then just went in and tweaked some of the description. Like sometimes some of the platforms you can't have such a big description when you first schedule it. So I just did all the things, and then you just click go, and then you get notification that I've been paired. It shows up on my studio as if I've scheduled a live stream, and it shows up on my platforms as if I've scheduled the live stream. Yeah. So it's super, super simple.
Yeah, it is. And if that sounds I think Anita's like explained that really simply. But if you're still confused about that, the best way is just to try and to play with it. It is really easy. And I believe actually you don't need to have an account. Effectively, if you didn't have an account, it will actually kind of in the background set you up an account, and you don't even know that. But I only found that out because I had a guest on my show a few weeks ago who didn't have a Restream account.
I think you just have to add your name and your email, don't you? And it does it for you.
Yeah, so it's really cool.
It allows you to sort of like, so it takes that like, what do I do? It is really, really easy. You just share the link, and it just means that instead of you, say like if we didn't have Restream Pairs, then, Ian would have said to me, we're going to go through my channel, and then I would have had to have gone into my channels once we were live and shared it over. Whereas this time it's just come straight out, and my followers are on here, Ian's followers on here, Restream's followers on here. So it means that everyone can have that conversation together, which is super, super easy. Yeah,
that's a really good point, Anita, because I can see comments on all of my channels and also Anita's channels. So, and that's important because this is not a one-way communication machine. This is not just us talking to you and sharing all our knowledge, which of course we will be doing, but we want to answer your questions as well. We've got loads of kit here, but we'd like to know what you are using. and maybe what your problems are, your challenges, and we're here to try and solve all your problems. Let's look at the comments. Oh my goodness. We love you, Carl. Lord Banter will bestow a title to Anita after he has watched and listened to what is said and deserved to her. Very, that sounds very posh, very posh. And great comment. Oh, that's great. Oh, thank you, Katie. My emails are great. Well, that's that. We need a bit of encouragement, and we've got Ahmed from Egypt.
Wow.
Whereabouts in Egypt? I went to Egypt many years ago. Beautiful country. I hope you're doing really well. Yeah, and 16 destinations is quite a long time. We've got Louise Brogan in the house. Hope you're doing well, Louise. I know you wanted to be here in person, but it's just great to see you here. I hope you've been enjoying the Atomicon virtual side of things. And my least boring thing, yes, this is an amazing thing, was getting my new M1 Mac Mini delivered and set up.
Wow, super cool.
We love that. We love that.
Yeah.
Well, keep the comments coming. But yeah, what have you got? So I suppose first of all, before we get onto your gear, let's just talk about what we're using. I'm using a bit of an old MacBook Pro. It's not that old. It's 2018, 2019. It's an Intel one. It gets a little bit hot, but it's fine. So you can start off with just a laptop. With Restream Studio, you don't need to have like a mega beast of a computer at all, which is great. I've got a Samsung Qtu microphone. So this is a dynamic microphone. Carl Sullivan won one of these, and I think he really loves these. These are great. And I'm actually using a bit more of a posh camera. So this isn't one that you would necessarily want to start off with, but it's a Canon M50 camera with quite a nice lens. So that's what we are currently using. I didn't start off with that. I started off with actually one of these, which is a Logitech C920 camera. Have you got one of these?
Yes, I do. Yeah. So I had to share it with my husband in lockdown. So
yes.
He's sort of like, can I use your webcam because I've got a call? And I was like, okay. So then we were fighting over them. So then I ordered another one, which we can show you in a moment. Yeah.
Well, it's amazing that you actually managed to get one, because these things were like gold dust in the pandemic. But yeah, these are great. You can actually, I don't know whether this is a good idea to do this. I should have thought about this earlier, but you could start up. So I could actually swap and use the FaceTime camera. So this is the inbuilt camera. Let's see if we. So yeah, it's okay. And if you haven't got the budget to buy a webcam, you could use your inbuilt one. You have to look down there. Yeah,
that's right.
Which is fine. But I think if you're watching, which of course you are, because you're watching. I don't know why I said that. You'll probably notice the difference with that camera. But tell us a bit more about your gear. What have you got with it? What's for you?
Yeah. So obviously, I wanted to do a couple of live videos with my membership and my followers and things. So I bought my Logitech Stream Cam. So this is this little device here, and it works the same way as the other Stream Cam. It's just I actually hook it onto the top of my laptop, but you can put it onto a little stand. So I got this little stand. So this one cool. And what I usually do is wrap these legs around something so that it's a little bit higher up, and that's quite good. But these ones,
so just hold that up to the camera a little bit more so you can see. I don't know whether this is going to go into focus. It might not do. Oh, there you go.
There you go.
That's pretty good. So is this from Logitech?
Yeah, so Logitech Stream Cam. And what's quite good with this one is that if you weren't using it for live streaming and you wanted to use it for your own video creation, Logitech comes with some software, so you can actually have it horizontal. So it's like 16 9, is that right?
16 to 9.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, horizontal. Or you can actually do it portrait. So if you're making like YouTube shorts or Instagram reels, you can actually use this in the portrait position as well. So it's quite handy for that sort of thing. So that's what I bought with me to use with it. And then I just bought the microphone on this is actually really good. So you don't actually need to have an external microphone. If you just want to start off with this particular webcam, the microphone on it's actually quite good. But you can bring a little one. So I wanted to bring stuff that was light and easy. So I got a little blue snowball, and I can just plug that in as well. And it's quite handy because if you wanted to stand up like in your room, you could just hold it like a little, like an ice cream, if you wanted to. But it does come with its little neat little stand.
I have to say, yeah. So Blue or microphone company, and they also make the Blue Yeti. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
The Blue Yeti is kind of a popular microphone. It's quite a bit of a beast. I mean, I've got one at home. It's quite. Yeah. But they do make quite, I don't know, sexy microphones. They do look really nice. Whereas this one, it's a lovely microphone, but it might not look well. What do you think? Which one? I would love to know which one do you like look at? I think I know which Anita prefers. But yeah. So I don't know what you think about this, but I think Anita, I think the first thing that I always recommend people go for, if they have a choice between camera and microphone, I always go for the microphone, because I think if people can't hear you very well, they're going to switch off. You know, if our audio was really bad,
yeah, you'd go, wouldn't you?
You'd go,
yeah, because you can't hear what's going on. I
mean, it's great if the video is good as well. Carl is asking. Actually, it's a good point. Let's have a little break. We'll go back to keep some questions coming. I would love to know which tech you use and what tech you're looking at getting. Carl Sullivan, we love you, Carl. Where can I find or follow Anita? I mean, in the social help way, not in he's behind you sort of way. Yeah. How can people stalk you? No, follow you in a nice way.
Well, I'm on YouTube, so if you just put my name in, Anita Wong, on YouTube, hopefully I should come up. I've got my channel's basically sort of reducing the overwhelm around video marketing, Instagram and Facebook. So those are the sort of 3 channels that I concentrate on. So you can find me on YouTube. I'm on LinkedIn under Anita Wong. Well, most places actually it's me. So yeah, Instagram, Anita Wong, and LinkedIn, and then obviously Twitter. Where else? Facebook. So just typing in Anita Wong. If you do that in Google, you might get a dentist who lives in New York, but because I'm sort of competing with her for that top place, because she's got the .com and I've got the .co.uk. But yeah, just put me in and you'll definitely get
You're on all the socials.
Yeah, I'm on all the socials.
Just in case you haven't got that, it's Wong, W-O-N-G. Because I always have to spell my last name, because it's Ian Anderson Gray with an A, not with an E. Although it's weird, I do sometimes get called by my middle name. Some people say, hi, Anderson, and I don't quite get that. Explore Travel TV is in the house. Great to see you watching on YouTube. Hope you're doing really well. Let us know where in the world you're watching from. So from camera wise, I'm very jealous. You're using a Panasonic GH5. I've heard lots of really good reports about the Panasonic are really very good with their video, the cameras and videos. Presumably you're having to plug that in using an HDMI converter. So this is a bit more advanced. It's not something we'd recommend for beginners, but this is great. You're using that. You're using a Rode video mic for my stream in studio. Tried a second cam using a cell phone, but it didn't work that great. So I've dabbled with there's an app called there's a few different apps. The one I use is called Epoch Cam. It's made by Elgato, and it will then pops up on your screen. It pops up as a webcam. So you could do that, but there are other ways you could. I mean, there's lots of little hacks you could use.
Yeah, I mean, I think lighting's quite important as well, isn't it? Just
yes.
if you're in your like at home in your studio, or you're doing something like we're not really in our normal place here, so we're reliant on the lights that are coming up. So it's always quite good to have a little circular light so you can pick them up. We've got one there. It's actually just like this big, and it has 2 or 3 different settings. You can have a white light, you can have an amber, orange.
I don't want to like damage anything.
No,
goodness, it's really light.
Really light.
Wow. Okay, so here we go.
Yeah, and it comes with a little tripod, and then you have 3 different settings, so you can turn it up and down, and then you can have like if you need it to be a little bit warmer, or you can have a bit of a mix between the warm and the white light. So I always find that that's quite important, especially if you're streaming and traveling and things like that, because sometimes like my hotel room is really dark. It's like 2 lights. It's like I walk in and it's like, why is it so dark in here? So
what's do you know what the model of that is? It just a generic?
It's just a generic one I bought on Amazon, but you can. I've got a little shop on Amazon. You can go and sort of like look me up But
Yeah.
there's probably, I'm sure Ian's got a kit list that's probably got a little light on as well. So
Well, that's really, yeah, I like this. So normally I'm not a massive fan of ring lights because I wear glasses, and so I mean, if I kind of, hold on, if I do that, then you can probably see.
Oh yeah.
But if you angle it, so that's probably not angled very well. But if you angle it right, so if we kind of like put it over there, I'm not doing it very well. Then, so just be careful. If you're wearing glasses, it's just really a case of angling it really well. But
yeah,
that I really like that, Anita, because it's nice and light and it's very portable. And you don't need to break the bank. I mean, I've got Elgato key lights, but they're expensive.
Yeah.
And I certainly didn't. I bought those probably 3 years into my live streaming. I started off actually with no lights. I would have probably been.
Yeah, I started off with like a little round ring, like one that's sort of like a ring light that has a little dimmer. But I've got the Elgato now because you've got more controls with it. You can, but you don't need to go to that stage at the beginning, like you say. No. You can just choose one like that. Yeah. And the simpler, the better with that sort of setup at the beginning until you sort of get used to going live and building up your sort of engagement with your audience and things and your confidence as well, because you don't want to make it too complicated. I
think that's really important. And I'm going to be like really honest here, you know, because like obviously I do a lot of live streaming. Live streaming is my business. You know, I'm doing this show every week for Restream. But there was 1 month when I didn't go live for a whole month, because I was worried about my tech not being good enough. And I was worried about my background not being good enough and all this thing. And actually, do you know what? That was just an excuse. The real reason was I was actually just nervous about going live, and I was comparing myself to others who I thought were much better than me. And then I woke up. Thankfully, I woke up and I thought, Ian, what are you doing? Stop it. You've got this audience out there who are waiting for you to share your wonderful knowledge with them. And I wasn't... and I wasn't going live. So don't let the tech get in the way. And Katie's asking this question. I don't know if you've used it. I haven't actually used the Air. Are the Elgato Air pretty good too?
Yeah, no, I haven't used it either. I've got one of the ones that sits on your desk, like a desktop one.
Is it clamp?
Yeah, there's like a
clamp. The clamp is the key light. And the Air is got a base.
Oh,
so I think
okay. So they're probably pretty much the same.
I think they might not be quite as bright. So I actually would say the key lights are actually almost too bright in a lot of situations. So yeah, definitely the Air. But you don't have to spend as much money on that. You could go for something like what we've got here.
Yeah, so. Or if you can, if you haven't got a studio, because that's another thing. Most you don't actually have to have a studio as such, you know, as long as you've got your laptop, your camera and your microphone, you can sit yourself sort of close to a window so you get a bit of natural light as well, because that's always quite good. And if the light's really bright, if you've got sort of like a sheer sort of curtain or something, you could just pull that through so you still get the light, but it's just not as glary. That's usually quite good as well. And just try not to have the window behind you, because when you have the window behind you, you get really dark, you know. So just make sure the window's in front of you or to the side.
It's a really good point. And the great thing about that is it's free.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you live in Manchester, which is
a bit further north, you don't get as much.
Don't have so much
Although
light.
the weather's been quite nice here, so
it has. If you haven't been to Newcastle in the UK, it's definitely worth going to. So it's a great place. So thank you for this Explore Travel to TV. You're from the wonderful city of Vegas. One day I will go back. It was many years ago that I went there. We were just going around we used it as a base to then go to the Grand Canyon and all this kind of stuff. This was before kids. It's a long time ago.
I took the kids to Las Vegas. Yeah, we went.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
We took a little helicopter down the Grand Canyon.
Oh, wow.
Because apparently there's no the law isn't. There's no law about. There's no the American law isn't in the Grand Canyon apparently. So
I didn't know that.
So we had like a picnic, you know, like a champagne picnic, and we went down, and apparently you can correct me if I'm wrong, but we were told that the American law doesn't, because it's not, I don't know. Anyway, so that was the sort of interesting bit. But yeah, we went to Las Vegas. It was really cool.
It is. It's a great city. That's awesome. Well, thank you. So you're using the cam link. So just I don't have a cam link on me at the moment. In fact, I've got one, but I don't really use one. But it's basically, if your camera, we're getting a bit techie here, so don't worry if you don't understand this, but if your camera has an HDMI output, usually you'd plug that into like a TV or a monitor so you can see what you're doing, but you can't plug that into your computer. So if your computer has an HDMI, you can't plug it in because that's an HDMI the other way. So you need like an adapter, and the Cam Link is this little dongle that Elgato make, and it converts the signal from your camera into USB. So it basically turns it into a webcam. It's really cool. So that's what that is. We've got a question, which I missed. Sorry about this, Katie. We were just gibbering away and I missed it. How important do you think it is to use a camera rather than a webcam? So Adrian Salisbury is here from, has been showing from Ecamm, was saying earlier today in the Ecamm pop-up group in Atomicon that he thinks a camera is the first tech you should get. Well, there we go. So we've got a bit of disagreement there. Now, I have to say, so Adrian is a good friend of mine, I love all that he does. He's very much video first, because that's his thing. He's a photographer. I personally, because I don't know, musical background, I don't know. I think audio's more important. I think in your case, Katie, you have a beautiful, wonderful Heil PR40 microphone. So your audio is amazing, and you don't need to spend very much. I mean, this microphone is about $50, £50. How much is? Can you remember how much the Snow?
Yeah, that was about 50 as well. Yeah, 50.
Yeah, so it's hopefully not going to break the bank, and you can get even cheaper. There's even a lapel mic that you can buy for about £10-15. It's a company called Boya, Boya, and they have it's called the BYM1. It just rolls off the tongue, that one, doesn't it?
And you can use like as long as you've got earphones with microphone, like with a microphone, you can use those. I mean, some people use the earpods, don't they? Sort of like the Apple earpods. I'm not sure whether they're
not so reliable.
Good. No, that's right.
That's the only issue.
But you can use the earphones as long as it's got like a microphone attached to it. You could use those. But like with the camera, I don't actually have a digital camera, so everything that I do on my YouTube, whether I'm recording for clients and things like that, I do it all from a webcam. So it's not an essential.
No.
If you want to start out, then obviously if you can afford to get a camera set up and then you get someone in to help you set it up and then it's done, that's fine. But if you think that that's a bit of a stretch at the moment, then you can get a webcam. I think, well, pre-pandemic, I think the webcams were about sort of between 60 and say £150, so you could still pick up one for that. I think the Stream Cam I think is about £150, so you can start off with something that's it's not too, I mean, it's still a bit of money, but you need to invest in something. But you can use your laptop, so depending on your laptop and depending on the camera quality of those, if you've got an Apple Mac, like I've got the new iMac, the camera on there is amazing. So, I think they are actually starting to realize that the camera is really important in laptops and things, because I think sometimes it was like a second thought to the computer.
Yeah, absolutely.
But now I think they're starting to realize, especially with this whole digital work from home, that the camera is super important, and they're starting to invest a bit more time in that. So
that's so true. And by the way, like if we say pounds, it's pretty much the same in dollars. I mean, unfortunately, because of the exchange rate. But and I hope that's helpful. I mean, I think Anita's right. I mean, I think the most important thing is getting your message right and getting comfortable in front of the camera, because it doesn't matter how much you spend on a camera. If you don't have that right, you're going to be struggling. And often, I don't know about you, Katie, but certainly in the past, I've been focusing on getting the tech sorted, because that's almost easier. Yes, you need to spend money, but if I just buy a microphone, that's going to solve all my problems. And it kind of doesn't. What I will say, so in Adrian's defense, if you do have the budget, then getting a really nice camera can allow you to stand out. So there is that, but it's really not. It's not everything. I would just say get everything else focused. I mean, Anita, you've said you don't have a fancy kind of DSLR camera or mirrorless camera, but I mean, you've got a very successful business and you're doing really well, and it's not stopped you.
No.
So I think
it doesn't. You shouldn't let it stop you. So I think that's the most important thing. Is if you think that that's too much at the beginning, don't let it stop you, because I think video is super important. So, and if you can go live and you can do video, then just be there and be present and deliver your message, and then you can, like, as you build up your confidence, then you can start to invest in different things, because ultimately I probably will get a digital camera at some point, just haven't got round to it at the moment. So Yeah.
Awesome. Well, if you just joined, this is Winning with Live Video. My name is Ian Anderson-Gray, and I'm here with Anita Wong. We are broadcasting from Newcastle, or technically Gateshead, I should say, in the northeast of England, from Atomicon. That is what this
big pineapple
pink pineapple is. And we've been doing that. And we'll be talking today about how to kind of sort the live stream tech without breaking the bank. And we've been talking about microphones, cameras, a bit about lighting as well. So keep those questions coming. I'm just going to look through the comments, and then we'll talk a little bit more about some tech. So hold on, where have we gone? Oh, Carl Sullivan says, so I've just bought an Elgato Wave mic with the Wave Mix app you can download for it. So let us know how you're getting on with that. I've heard good things about that. I believe it's a USB. So these are, by the way, these are all USB microphones. So you don't need any mixers, or you don't need to buy a Rodecaster Pro, which costs a lot of money and all that kind of stuff. It's just USB. And I'd always recommend, just unless you're really, unless you've got a lot of cash to burn and you're really invested in it, then just start simply with a USB mic. And Katie says, oh yeah, we've already answered that question. Sorry. Let's have a look. Who else? Oh, Aaron Short Music is. I think he's doing. Is that a Geordie? Way. That's what they talk like. I can't do the accent. It's just. I went to university very close to it, and I can't do the. Can you do a Geordie accent?
No.
Let's not do that.
Way.
That's quite good.
Way.
Yeah. Well, actually, my last name, Gray. It's interesting. So it's
similar.
You've got that sound, but in Geordie, it's the opposite way around. So it becomes Gria. So I'm Ian Anderson Gria. Yeah. So there you go.
Well, we could do this a lot, couldn't we? Different accents.
Yeah, we could, but then we'd lose our entire audience.
Would,
so thank you for sticking with us. And that's good to hear regarding computer cameras. And thank you, Aaron. So sound first, yes.
Yeah.
Some people listen without watching, and that's true. Actually, when I was in bed with COVID a few weeks ago, I was like this. Oh, but I had my phone on, listening to live videos because I just couldn't even.
I listen to live videos when I'm cooking. I put my phone on the side, and I do have my earpods in, and then I'll just listen to it, and then I'll look, like depending on what the live stream's about. If it's a practical one, I'll be looking, but if it's not a practical one, I'll just listen. And so the audio is really important because, like you say, if the audio drops, you just can't maintain the flow. So I think that's really important. But you can interact with live video in lots of different ways, and that's why. Like we're bringing up the comments on here as well. That's a really good way because then the audience comes into the studio with you, which is also an awesome way of them feeling like they're involved, which is something that live video really does give you.
Yeah, community is really key.
Yeah, definitely.
Now I did something there.
What did you
do? I paused. I didn't do anything. And this is something I learned from somebody on my show, a guest on my show, which is particularly for the people who aren't watching. Don't be afraid of pausing, because actually what will often happen is if you pause, and obviously it needs to be for a reason. Maybe you're giving a point and then you pause. Often the people who aren't watching will grab it and look because they think, what's happening? What's gone wrong? So actually it's quite a good way of getting people, involved. It's just, but I think sometimes we can be so focused on filling every single second with sounds because actually, silence, I don't know about you. Did you feel a bit kind of like weird when I did that?
Yeah, but I think it's good though, isn't it? It gives your audience time to think as well. Because like if you're talking about lots of things, so we've been talking about a lot of tech, and actually pausing and giving the audience time to take that in and respond. Sometimes you do need to pause and just allow a little bit of silence. And it feels a little bit. Should I do something? But
yeah, absolutely. So that's great. Yeah, thank you. Content is key. Great advice from Katie. Thank you so much. And you don't need to apologize. It's fine. We're confusing you. I would say, Aaron Short Music saying, sorry, I thought you were from there. I'm from Suffolk originally. It's a bit confusing because I don't know. I'm all over the place. My parents are actually from Scotland, but I live south of Manchester, and you live.
I live in London, in West London, but
in
originally in London.
I'm not going to do the accent.
Originally, I was born in Australia because my parents went out in the 60s on the £10 ticket thing. So my dad was an electrician, and then we came back when I was sort of 4 or 5, and then we've been London, Peterborough, back to London. So yeah.
So there we go.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. Thank you. I think we're making Katie laugh. And Carl is doing really well here. So Anita, we are friends on LinkedIn. I just paid a little visit, and funnily enough, you are at the same event with Ian there as well.
So we're actually at the same event in person and online, which is
I know the wonders of modern technology.
Yeah,
it is great. And Katie is saying, was that Samantha Hearn who talked about the suspense pause? Now it might have been. You probably can. I've got an awful memory. It might have been. It was also David Lawrence, I want to say 17th. I can't remember his. Do you know? Have you come across? He's an actor. He does a lot of live streaming, and he was in Heroes, the TV series. And I interviewed him once, and I think he may have talked about it. But Samantha Hearn was actually speaking today. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to see her speak, but she's been on a show I did with Restream earlier this year. She's great, wearing her yellow branding.
I think I sat next to her in the main stage.
Yeah, so she was very much talking about confidence and mindset when she was on the show. And Aaron Short Music says, I used to live in Acton West, London.
Right around the corner from me. I live in Ealing Broadway, so that is literally the next borough along.
Well, there we go. So keep the questions coming. We'd love to know what tech you are currently using, what you're wanting to use. If you have any tech questions for us, is there anything that's kind of overwhelming? Of course, as well as the hardware, I mean, your computer is probably the most important thing. Then it's microphone, in my opinion. I think both our opinions. And then camera lighting and that kind of thing.
Tripod.
Oh, we need to talk about tripods. Of course, just before we talk about that, software, and we're using Restream Studio. We, both of us recommend keep it simple to begin with. Restream actually, we should say, is one of these amazing pieces of software that really kind of fits you as you grow your business. So if you start off, you can use Restream Studio. You can dip your toe. It's really simple to use. You can get into multi-streaming. You don't have to do multi-streaming, but it's really simple. If you want to get all geeky later on and use software like OBS Studio or Ecamm or things like that, you can use that directly with Restream. You can get into podcasting. That it does it saves the video and the audio separate tracks. We're getting all a bit geeky here, but what I'm trying to say is it's important to choose software that's going to grow with you. And one of the things I love about Restream is it grows with you. Start simply, but over time, it will do all the stuff that you want to do.
Yeah, and it's really good because I used it today earlier on, because you can actually schedule a video that you've pre-prepared as a live stream in Restream as well, which is good, because if you want to, with your live streams, if you want to keep that continuity, sometimes you might not be able to do your live for any particular reason. So you can actually pre-record it and just tell your audience that that's what's happening, and then it's clear and you're able to keep that continuity going, which was awesome. So
I think that's what you see. I mean, I could have done that for today. I could have pre-recorded this and then scheduled it out, but it's more fun doing it this way.
It's more fun like this. Because...
But sometimes you can't. And I know I think this week you pre-recorded yours and then put it out
that's
live.
Right. Yeah.
And there's a tool called Descript, which is great. Descript is a tool that will actually allow you to edit your videos. It will transcribe it and you can edit it. And there is an integration with Restream and Descript, so you can upload your Descript into Restream and schedule it out. So even better, which is
that's cool. Really good. And then, like you said about the pausing, sometimes when you pause with your live video, that's quite good for when you want to repurpose the live, because when you do pause, you've got those nice tidy breaks when you want to cut a little bit of your live short to repurpose it somewhere else as well. That's always quite useful. So instead of keep talking all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. So Katie says, Samantha, so this is Samantha Hearn, one of the speakers at Atomicon, did an inspirational live this morning. What did she talk about? Because unfortunately, I missed that.
Yeah, I missed that.
It is a small world. It absolutely is. And the best thing that Aaron did recently, or bought, was an M1 Mac and an Elgato Stream Deck. Game changers.
Brilliant.
And we love those tools. They work really, really well. We've got Gloria Moore, I think, watching on your channels, Anita. So watching from West End, North Carolina.
Hello,
Beautiful
Gloria.
part of the world.
Yeah, really nice.
Yes. I think I could do with being there right now, actually. But actually, no, Newcastle's great. Restream, so easy and fun to use. And Carl is saying, I just set the links I want to go to through. I can't read Restream once and then schedule and stream through eCam. So easy, set and forget. So yeah, it's so easy. Whether you use Restream Studio or you use another tool like eCam with Restream, it works really well. And yeah, scheduling, depending on how you pronounce it, I always get confused. You can schedule, Restream allows you to schedule to all the different channels, although technically it's LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube will create the posts ahead of time, just so that you know about that. Anything else that we should be focusing on? I think you were going to tell us about tripods, weren't you?
Yeah, just because, like, obviously live streaming, we're using Restream in the studio, but for, maybe you might be out and about and you want to just connect with your audience. So having tripods quite handy for that, like, especially if you just want to, sometimes you can do a quick pre-live on your mobile and then come into the studio and do your proper live. So you just sort of about an hour before maybe say, oh, I'm going to be on live, we're going to be talking about this, and you can just pop on your phone on, like, maybe the platform that you're on the most. And I use this little tripod, so it's really good because it's handbag size, like for all of us women. And you can either use it as a selfie stick, so it comes up like this, and then you've got this little connector that you just press the button, but it's actually got this little, you can actually open it up and make it into a little tripod. So it's actually quite handy for that sort of thing. So, I mean, like, you've got your tripod with the camera on at the moment, haven't you? So there's lots of different, uses for things. And if you use this with the squidgy little tripod, you can always just tie it around and use it, which is also quite good. So just trying to keep things as simple. And I put all of this into my bag that I bought up to the conference. I mean, obviously I bought my MacBook Pro as well, but that's all I have. So that MacBook, my little light, my snowball, and my webcam. And then I went, I can go live through Restream. So just trying to keep it simple. And like, you bought the camera, so it's just as easy to bring your digital camera in a bag as well. So yeah.
Really, I mean, you don't want to be lugging really big, expensive equipment around. That's not what you want. I mean, obviously your computer is probably going to be the most expensive. So yeah, but I love that though. Do you want to show that in front of the camera again? Because it's just so portable. Yeah. And you probably wouldn't.
This is it here.
Yeah.
I'll do it slowly
so
you can see.
It's thinking. It's getting your face in it. That's the problem.
Anyway, I'll bring it back a little bit. So yeah, so this is really good because you can either use it as a selfie stick, and this little gadget here, I'll just take it off. This comes off and connects it with Bluetooth. So if you're using it as a selfie, you'd obviously keep it in and you can use it. But if you use it as a little tripod, so you open it up so you can sit it somewhere else, and you can do horizontal or portrait, and then you can use the little Bluetooth to turn on your camera and then press go and things like that. So that's usually quite good. So this is quite handy, and it fits in my handbag, which is great. So if you're out and about and you just want to do a little spontaneous, or even just taking pictures. So, like, if you want to create a thumbnail for your live stream and you want to take some little shots, you can just whip out your little selfie stick and off you go.
Anita, I was trying not to spend any more money on tech, and this is what happens.
Yeah,
so if
this is quite inexpensive, actually.
That's good. That's good to know. Well, so what we're looking for there, selfie stick tripod thing.
Yeah, it's Atomtech.
Atomtech. So that's ATUMTEK. And let me just write it in here. So just in the chat.
ATUMTEK.
Oh, hold on. ATUM.
TEK.
So
they do come in different colors, by the way, so you don't have to just go for that color.
Right. Well, there you go. You don't have to go for that. So that's great. Awesome. Well, Katie was saying, so I did see you go live. I wasn't able to pop in because we were setting up. I went live earlier and immediately edited it into script. It took me an hour to edit a half-hour live. Fantastic tool. That's awesome. Really glad you're using that. It's just we're all for keeping things simple, and I love the way Descript and Restream connect. Carl is saying, "Oh, best thing I got last week was 35% discount up to Restream." We shouldn't talk about that because but there may be some deals coming up soon. But do check out Restream because Restream is awesome. And by the way, I should actually be popping up the special link where you do get a special discount with this link. This is my special link. So if you go to iag.me/Restream, you can sign up for free and also get a really good deal on Restream. So definitely check that out. Let's have a look who else we've got. Yes, a pre-stream is a good idea. Tripods can be difficult to get right. Yeah, that's absolutely. And I think we have given you the make in the comments, so hopefully that came. Yes, Atomtech is the name of that. Somebody on the Facebook group, do you or any of your customers have you tried streaming to Amazon Live? I am just curious. Thanks. Now, I have done a show on Amazon Live before. Have you doubled with Amazon Live yet?
No, I haven't. I have got a shop, like an influencer shop thingy on there, but I haven't actually done a live stream yet. So, but
it's so one thing to say about Amazon Live, it's only available on Amazon.com. So if you are in the UK or Europe or Australia or anywhere else, unfortunately, it's not available there. But that does not stop you from signing up as an influencer. So what I recommend is go to Amazon.com/live, I think is where you go. Make sure you have an Amazon account, obviously, an Amazon.com account. You have to apply. So they are wanting you to be a relatively successful creator. So they look at your follow account on either Instagram or Facebook. I can't remember exactly which one. So do apply. And the great thing is with Restream Studio, it's so simple. You have to have the app on your phone, the Amazon app, and it gives you, it's a bit techy, a stream key and a special link, and you bung that into Restream, and it just does it all for you. It's amazing. It's really simple. I love Amazon Live. I've not been doing it as much as I should be, but it's definitely good. We've got Christmas clatter in the house with some Christmas trees there. It's well,
nearly.
It's nearly Christmas.
Is it what, 45
please,
days?
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. And Katie's saying, thank you. Question, what's this? I have a question, how Pairs works from, I'm not going to pronounce your name correctly. Is it Lichald?
Yeah, Lichald.
Lichald, thank you.
Yeah, I think so.
I gave my explanation how Pairs works. What have you got an explanation? How would you describe how Pairs works? Because we talked about this at the beginning of the show, but obviously we're very happy to talk about it again because we love Pairs.
So it's basically you pair with your partner. So say like if I wasn't actually here physically, although we are using Pairs at the moment, but say if I was at home in my studio and Ian had invited me onto the show, what would happen usually is that I would have to share Ian's live stream into my channels because there was no way of me actually connecting my channels with Ian's live unless you sort of gave your login details away. So that was one of the things that you wouldn't want to do.
So before I would have had to give access because I don't trust Anita. She's dodgy. No, I'm joking. But you'd have to give your username and password of Restream so they go in and add their accounts.
And then I'd have to add my channels to Ian's Restream account. So it's all a little bit complicated. So with Pairs, what happens is that Ian creates the scheduled show, and then Restream Pairs, it creates a unique link. And all Ian did was share the link with me. I clicked it, I went to it, and it said, would you like to pair your social channels with Ian's show? And you just put your name and email in if you haven't got an account. If you've got an account, you just log straight into your account, and you literally just click on the channels that you want to pair, and it automatically creates the live stream in my studio as if it's me doing the live. So what's happened today is that Ian's running the show, but it's coming out of my channels as if I'm also running the show. So it gives my channels the insights and analytics, and it also helps us share the audience and the conversation across all of the audiences that we can do. So it really increases your reach for both of us, because it means that natively Ian's being introduced to my audience and I'm being introduced to his. So it's a really good way of collaborating with, another audience. And you can also share other people's streams without actually having to go on the stream, can't you?
Yeah, well, actually, one thing, sorry, Katie, if you're still watching, I missed your comment before. You said one of the things you love to do or you would love to do, is like a pairs party. And so you can actually do a pairs party. So Katie, we could have given you the special link for today, and we could have broadcast to your channels as well. So you don't actually have to be on as a guest. You can actually just broadcast it out. And it also is important to say, this is, what Anita could have done is, when I started broadcasting, she could have then shared it, like with Facebook, shared it. But this is different. This is actually, we'll actually say Anita is going live. And so it's actually going live directly to her channel, as well as it is to my channel and to the Restream channels as well.
Which is really, and it makes it easier then, because there's no fiddling around trying to share it and making sure that you've done that, because it's just seamless. As soon as Ian pressed the live button, it went out on all of the platforms that were paired with Ian's show, which is great.
Which is great. Well, thank you for that great question. We're very happy to help. So somebody in a Facebook group, sorry, we don't know who you are. Do you think live and AR/VR, so this is augmented reality and virtual reality, will converge in the future, or will remain two separate disciplines or experiences? I don't know whether this is with the whole Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg's big announcement recently. I don't know if you spotted this, but the parent company of Facebook is being renamed to Meta, because this is the whole thing about the metaverse. This is kind of the meeting in a virtual reality world. Facebook, by the way, is not changing its name. It's just the parent company, just because there's been lots of misinformation about that. Any thoughts on that before I kind of think? I mean,
not really. It sounds a little bit.
This is, I mean, we had, so it was interesting this morning. Deborah Meaden was being asked on, was a speaker, and she's on Dragon's Den, which is a UK-based reality TV show. I believe in the US it's called Dragon's Lair or something, or maybe I've got that wrong. Anyway, it's basically these investors who, they either invest or they don't in these businesses. If you're watching the US, you will probably be able to remind me what the name of the show is. It might be Dragon's Lair, or it might be something else. But she was asked the question about the metaverse and Mark Zuckerberg's metaverse. And she was just saying, well, it's good to keep your eye on it, but is it going to be the next big thing? We don't know. And actually, probably a lot of people working at Facebook probably don't know either. So we don't, honestly, the answer is we don't know. Do you think live and AR, VR will converge in the future? I think it's interesting because Facebook did have 360 live video. I can't remember whether it still exists. It may or may not exist, but it's certainly not being pushed. I don't see anyone really doing live video in 360, which can then be used with virtual reality. I think there will be two separate things, certainly for the foreseeable future. But who knows what's going to happen with the whole metaverse thing? We may see that. But I think for the foreseeable future, I think that will remain separate. That's my thing.
Yeah.
Somebody's saying Dragon's Lair is a video game. Thank you, Christmas Clatter. It is Shark Tank. I don't know why it's a Dragon's Lair. Shark Tank in the US. That's the one.
Ah.
Yeah, it is different.
Maybe one of your kids has got that computer game.
Maybe. Well, they're into Minecraft. Oh. Yeah. So please, let's not talk about Minecraft all the time. I used to like Minecraft until my son is playing it all the time. It's Pascal is in the house. Pascal Fintoni, we're missing you. Pascal, not trying to give you FOMO, but I hope you're doing really well. Thank you for your comment. Well, we're almost out of time. Do you have any last kind of pieces of wisdom to share with us, Anita?
I think just don't let the overwhelm stop you from having a go. Basically, I think you've just got to do it. Just have a go at doing a live, come into the studio, practice. They've got this really good record only feature in Restream, so you can actually just pretend to be live if you want to practice a little bit, and that's quite good because then you can check whether your background's okay, whether your audio's okay, and things like that. And just take that step, because once you've taken that first step, it will just get easier and easier and easier. And I think that's probably the best advice really that I can give, is just don't let the overwhelm and the whole overthinking thing stop you from actually doing it.
Absolutely. I think you've got two extremes. You either get overwhelmed with it like Anita was saying, or the other thing is you kind of just get obsessed with the tech and you buy all this stuff and you haven't actually gone live because you're just thinking about all the tech. So I think, yeah, just focus, just get started. People want to see you. At the end of the day, it is about real human beings. And I hope you've enjoyed today. We've really enjoyed spending this time with you. Thank you so much for all your questions. I can see Sasha is here. Sasha's actually been here at the conference and she's just rushed back to get changed. See you at the party.
Yeah,
there is a party happening tonight.
There is.
Hopefully the music's not going to be too loud. But anyway,
have a bit of tea and then go out.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much. It's been great to spend time with you. Just Anita, let everyone know how they can find out more about you and what your next thing you'll be working on is.
Yeah, so you can get hold of me on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram at Anita Wong. My next thing is to help you connect the dots without the overwhelm. So, just if you feel that everything is just getting on top of you, then, just reach out to me and we can have a chat about how I can reduce that overwhelm and get you online and be a bit more visible.
Awesome. Well, definitely check out Anita. She does a great job. And Pascal says, well done. I hope you guys do more shows together. Well, maybe we will.
Yeah, maybe
it's been good fun.
Sir Ian.
Sorry, yeah. VM News One, I'm enjoying very much. And he's also asking a question about how to use on mobile. Well, you can use Restream on a mobile as well. Although the only thing is really the screen can be a bit tiny. So it might be better on a tablet, but you can absolutely do that. Well, that is it for today. If you want to find out more about me, you can find me at iag.me, and my podcast is the Confident Line Marketing Show. So you can find that at iag.me/podcast. But of course, I'm here every Tuesday on the Restream channel. This has been the Winning with Live video show. Thank you so much, Anita. It's been great to have you on the show.
Brilliant. Thank you for having me.
Well, we'll see you very soon. Toodaloo. And until next time, start winning with live video. Yay. Bye.